Welcome, welcome. Your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen, with a phenomenal guest today. The podcast is going to be incredible. We got the great Al Clowers joining us today. Literally, in my mind, he's a legend in San Diego. He's been around for a very, very long time. And I want you all to get to know who he is. You get to see him on my podcast on Mondays when I bring all the guides in and we talk about the week and what's going on out on the water. But you guys haven't got to really meet my guides, the guys that work with us. And believe me, I took a while to handpick these guys and talk them into coming over and working with your saltwater guide, because this industry, if you face it, we don't share a lot.
Right.
We're not into sharing all these hot spots and doing all the things that we do over at your saltwater guide. So to talk people into doing it's kind of hard, and you got to pick the right people. They got to be really good people. So
Right.
your saltwater guide made out like a bandit. I worked on this young man for 2 years, and I finally got him to come over to the dark side.
Yeah, now I'm beating off all my inner circle because I'm giving away all my stuff.
Yeah, he's a horrible, horrible human being now. He's a horrible man. But at the end of the day, like I always say, when we sit down to pay our bills, we don't see any of these superstars of fishing, right, Al?
Right.
So, gang, this is Mr. Al Clowers, and I'm going to be interviewing Al today on our podcast. And today is sponsored by Deckhand Sports. We'll be showing you a cool little video. Deckhand Sports, you see the bags on the back of all of our guys' boats. And we'll be talking about that. I'll show you a cool video about it. Dave's watching, so if you have any questions, he'll be chiming in on the side there. So if anybody has any questions about Deckhand Sports or their bags or anything, or you want to save money on the bags, you can go use our QR code, and we'll throw that up in a little bit when we show you the commercial. But Al, let's get into this, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Dave.
How did you get into fishing?
My dad, I was bred into it. My dad was a fishing fool, hunting fool, salt and sea guru.
Salt and Sea, what a bitch and fishery that was.
We've had a trailer at Salt and Sea on Red Hill Marina my whole life. It's still there. My brother runs it now, so he does a lot of the duck hunting. I can go when I want, but yeah, Big Mike takes care of it now. But yeah, my dad was a produce manager in Alpha Beta for many years, and he made just a little bit to buy his house and take care of the three boys and make sure we went fishing. We never had the nicest boat. In fact, we had some piece of shit boats. But you know what? We're 50 miles offshore in that little piece of shit. You know what I mean? Excuse my language.
Sorry. No, I got you.
But yeah, that's we had a cuddy cabin glass par back in the day.
Wow, I know what you're talking about.
We burned that little thing all the way out to the Hidden and 302 and everything. It was cool.
Right.
And then we always went to the desert. We always had motorcycles to ride. I remember when he went and bought the only brand new thing I ever got besides my truck was my dad bought me a brand new Yamaha 60.
Oh,
back in the day when I was about 8.
Beautiful little dirt bike. That's all we all wanted.
We're big desert rats, right? And still today, me and my cousins and my brothers and the family, the offspring of the family, all get together every winter and go down there and spend a lot of days down there. So it's pretty cool.
So back when you were a kid fishing in the salt, this is something a lot of you don't understand. You hear the Salton Sea, oh, that place is so polluted and all this gross stuff. The Salton Sea, when we were young, that was the place. Those orange mouth Corvina, they're 20, 30 pounders.
The Salton Sea used to be polluted with big old orange mouth Corvina.
Big orange mouth Corvina.
And some months you were shallow enough. You knew you were fishing shallow enough when you had a big mud trail behind your little 5-horse or 10-horse Mercury on that little duck boat. You know what I mean? Trolling the lunker lures, and I don't know if you guys or whoever's on here know about the lunker lures. They got black and white, pink and white. I think orange and white, and they're the ugliest looking baits, and it has a small tail that swims real tight. But man, I caught a lot. And then my dad's good buddy was Sunshine George, and he had a guide service down there on pontoon boats. And we'd go out in the middle of the night and catch tilapia with him so we could get our share. We could pull up to the boat. Hey, George, what's up? He'd throw us a couple nets of that stuff. Fly lining that tilapia.
That's what I did.
My brother Mike has 2. He was smart. He mounted 2 of them, a 23 and a 25.
They That was such a phenomenal fishery, unknown
Yeah.
unless you knew. You had to have someone that knew.
Right. That place is pretty cool, man. You get down there and it's a different world, you know, get you disconnected from the city and all this San Diego type of fishing stuff. And, you know, you're in the middle of the desert and it gets blistering hot in the summer when the corvina are biting, it's blistering hot. You know?
And gang, when we're done with this podcast today, do yourself a favor. If you don't know the Salton Sea and what we're talking about, it's the accident in the desert. It was an accident. Somebody turned the wrong valve on and the Colorado River just ran into the middle of the Salton Sea. There was just there was nothing there. And then all of a sudden it was a lake, and it was the place to be in the 50s. They made it like a vacation destination.
I don't know the exact history, but I was told that it was the northern part of the Bay of California.
Well, not according to the internet.
Right, but I don't know.
It was made by someone turned the wrong valve on the.
But I'll tell you what, the birds must have brought the fish and the eggs and the little babies, because man, that place just took off, and it used to be cool. It was fun.
It was such a bitchin' fishery. I didn't troll it like you guys did. We only fished at live bait, and you had to get tilapia. Right. You had to get tilapia on the way in. We would stop.
And the little canal ends and stuff.
Yeah, the little right, exactly. There was like little, what do you call them? Irrigation canals, and they would have tilapia in them, and that's like candy to those things.
Hey, when I was doing a lot of bass fishing, man, there was a bunch of crawdads in there too.
Was there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We used to get crawdads out there where we're getting tilapia and take them home to fish the lakes.
Look at Toby's watching us from Cape Coral, Florida.
Wow.
Toby, if you look back, one of your guys that lives there, Tito Ortiz, he was on the podcast a year ago. You can look back on my YouTube channel, type in your saltwater guy, your guy, Tito Ortiz. He's like doing a great job down there, giving back to the community. I'm pretty stoked to have him as a friend. Right. The guy's doing a great job. But back, so you can't even remember a time, right, when you didn't fish?
No.
Ever since you were a little baby, right?
I can remember the time when my dad wanted me to play baseball, because he was all CIF football player, and both my brothers were playing sports. I'd grab my surfboard and go surfing, and then I'd grab my fishing rod and go fish.
You've always lived in San Diego?
I grew up in National City, and I bought my house 2 blocks from my parents, and my mom still lives in the same house that I was born in, 2 blocks from.
That's pretty special.
My dad's gone, but he's watching this right now.
Yeah, he's stoked we're doing this podcast.
His call sign in the boat was a bald eagle, because he was just like me, bald as can be. But they nicknamed him Bald Eagle, and he had that on all his boats.
That's
and if you look in the house where his chair is at, he's got all these cool duck paintings and a 13-pound largemouth and a couple bald eagles in there.
I saw that when I was at your mom's house that day. That was pretty cool. So then, what did you decide that you wanted to fish for? I mean, when
I was younger, going, from younger, and in my 20s, it really started resonating, and I had my little group of people to go fishing with, and not to be boasty or nothing, but you know how the groups are, and there's always a guy that's fishier than the other. There's always a fishy dude, I was always kind of leading the pack, and then one day my buddy told me, hey, let's go join Southland Bass Club. And I go, dude, what that Bass Club? I don't want to go join no Bass Club. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, man, maybe that'd be the next step to go check out, right? So I went, I told him, give me a month, because all I have is split shots and little bait hooks for my crawdads. I had a big old crawdad tank right in my front door. I was single, so I could have my crawdad tank in my front door. And so anyway, make a long story short, I had my little saltwater aluminum boat with a saltwater bait tank for a live well plumbed in that thing with a 35 horse pull start on it. And I was fishing against all those guys and those rangers and champions and everything. And the first tournament I won.
Really?
Yeah, Sutherland. I had like 28 pounds on the pop bait.
Oh my gosh. How old were you?
I was 22.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty magical.
Yeah, it was really cool. So then, I did that for a while. Took Angler of the Year in that little aluminum boat against all those guys. And then I'm like, man, what about one Bass Pro tournament? I want to go fish the AAA. Go fish with some guys that they call themselves pro and see what's going on. So I did that for 3 years, and then I went pro for 4 years. And,
Bass
and I
Pro,
had a job.
freshwater.
And I had a job, and I was taking care of both the kids.
What were
I
you
was
doing for
moving.
work then?
Structural concrete, and they were paying my entry fees. That's how a good fisherman does it. He gets the company to pay your entry fees.
Yeah, that's good when you can get sponsored.
Forget
to
about
do
all
that.
the worms and stuff.
So you went from Salton Sea, but you were already freshwater fishing with your dad. It didn't matter where, just anywhere you could put your line in the water,
we were
right?
freshwater fishing right out of the gate. Back bay, you know. We used to shoot ducks in the back bay.
Really?
Yeah, dude, when I was a little kid.
Could you imagine doing that today?
Yeah, those sea brant get back in there and shoot them sea brant and shoot all the ducks back in there, back by J Street and everything.
Take them home and eat them?
I used to shoot. Yeah, I used to shoot dove right there on Main Street, out by the amphitheater right there. We should go out there and shoot dove like nothing.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What year was that?
I don't know. It was a long time ago, Dave.
Yeah, we didn't do our bodies very good back in the 70s. We weren't kind to ourselves. That's for damn sure.
To fast forward, I worked structural concrete for quite a few years, right? And I had all these health issues. You know, looking at me, I would think you don't really know what has been done to me, but you know, with all the heart attacks and all the strokes and all the cancer and all that stuff. I had a high stress job. They kept pushing me higher up in the ladder, and I didn't want to be stressed out like that anymore. You know what I mean? So I just one day I had a little confrontation with the superintendent, this new kid that used to pick up my trash piles, thinking he's going to tell me how to build shit stuff. So he called me in the office. I went in my office in my shorts and with my computer, and I handed it in and quit. I had a $3,000 house payment, an $850 truck payment. I had about $4,000 in the bank. And I'm like, I'm going to go to school and get my license, and I'm going to start making money fishing.
Go get his captain's license.
And that's what I did.
Wow, that's a scary deal.
Right, and I've been full circle, right? I had the 25-foot Chris craft on a trailer at the time, broke, came to a head where I was broke, really broke. And luckily, my father-in-law owned a big tow yard, so I used to keep my Lance camper down there. So I came up with an idea to hurry up and rent out my house where I lost it, and rent it to some military guys, and I moved in the yard in my father-in-law's shop. I was just a single fishing fool, you know. It didn't matter. So,
wow.
So yeah, that all happened, and then I remember blowing up the Chris craft without no money in the bank, and having to ask my dad if he can help me get the top end rebuilt on it.
Because that's what you were taking people fishing on?
Yeah, and he did, you know. And then I lived in the yard for 3 or 4 years.
While you were fishing for a living?
While I was running the Chris craft, and I was towing that thing everywhere back in the day. You know, we all fished off the launch ramp, but that was a long time ago.
No, I understand.
So I kept going and going and going, and four guys showed up to the boat. Hey man, you ever think about getting a bigger boat? And I'm like, yeah, about 10 minutes ago.
Right.
And anyway, they wanted a piece of my behind and everything. So I told them no. I said, I'm not doing this to please other people. I'm doing this to have sanity and peace and all that stuff. And anyway, I was blessed in a few ways and got the Riviera. And then, you know, I had a skipjack for a while. And I've had the little Stringari skiff. And then I had the Blackman Outer Banks. So I worked my way up all the way to 3 boats and had the perfect individual for each boat. These guys didn't have to go and bootleg.
Do other jobs.
They didn't have to go work for other companies because I had enough work to keep everybody busy. We were doing like 400 trips a year.
With the freshwater, saltwater,
salt? No, just the Stringari, the bay boat, the Blackman, up to 12-hour, 4-pack, and then this boat.
Wow.
And then COVID hit. Right? COVID hit and things changed, and it hasn't really rebounded since for me anyway. So I went from 0 up to 3 boats, and now I'm back down to, I still have 3, but 2 of them are on the beach and one of them's in service, which is the Riviera, and I'm running it. So when things get tough, you got to get tough with it and take command and keep the boat from sinking. That's what I'm doing.
Well, I'm up here to do the Let's Talk Hookup show. That's why I flew up here today. And Pete's been doing that show for 30 plus years.
Right.
And that's where I first got introduced to you, because
Right.
I'm on the show on Sundays and you were always calling in your
On
reports and
Sundays.
stuff.
Right.
And then I started doing some research on you, and you were quite the largemouth bass fisherman.
Right.
Besides, you and I fished together, so I already know your
Right.
talent out here. It's incredible. But you were pretty big time on that largemouth bass thing.
Right.
You were doing it big time.
Right. Yeah, I showed you the Ranger.
Right.
It's locked and loaded, ready to rip. The garage is full of all the old tackle and everything. But
And you make your own. I've been through his garage. He makes his own lures. Al's a phenomenal fisherman, because he's always thinking about what's the next best thing. Why did it not bite today?
right.
You go in your garage, you go in your little science, in your little lab in there, and you mix together some stuff, and you make those irons too that we
Right,
showed on the
right.
podcast. Or no, I showed them on one of my reels.
Yeah. That was a tough one, because I had to start figuring out. I've never really made molds and stuff, so for lead, so I had to figure all that out.
I think you did a great
It's
job.
not the perfect mold, but it works.
They work. They catch fish.
Right. Oh, those things are fish catchers. They work really well.
And so when you were doing the largemouth bass thing, you were working in the circuit here in Southern California, right? You were fishing all the
Yeah,
lakes?
all the one bass and ABA and all the team tournaments, and then the pro stuff was Lake Mead, Havasu, and Pleasant.
And you went and did all those?
I did all those, and I'd leave for like 2 weeks at a time. I'd practice for 7 days straight.
Practice
Practice for 7 days straight. Go to Lake Mead, throw a bunch of food in the boat and water and a little bit of clothes, and you don't have to come back to the ramp as long as you got fuel. So you can get fuels at different. Lake Mead's so big, they got different marinas you can just pull in and get fuel. So me and my buddies would stay, just pull up to a beach in the middle of nowhere on Lake Mead and sleep on the deck of the boat.
Really?
Get up
So
the
that
next
you could
morning.
be right there.
Get
in
up the
gray
next
light
morning,
and
jump
see-
in the water, jump in the boat, and go fishing, man. Yeah, it's cool.
That way you could tell what's going on, time of day and everything,
Right,
because you
right.
can't be everywhere at the same time, right?
It's tough out there, because on those lakes, there's a bunch of really good fishermen that live there too. So you're going into their backyard, but they can still be beat. I won a bunch of team tournaments here in San Diego, but I never won a pro tournament. But I took ninth in Lake Mead one year.
Ninth?
200 boats.
That's all right. That's good.
That
You're
was
in
my
the
first
game.
year.
You're in the running.
Right.
You're in there.
Plenty of top 10s and stuff.
That largemouth bass thing, it's pretty wild. The amount of I had Mark Mills on the show from Daiwa,
Mm-hmm.
and he was telling me he had like 30 rods on his bass boat,
Right.
rigged up all the
Right.
time. I'm like, what?
Well, things happen quick, man. Why do you want to sit there and retie? You just grab another rod.
That's so crazy.
Each bait, not each bait, but each category of baits has to have a different action of a rod. Say you're going down the bank throwing a crankbait, right? You got a glass rod or whatever. All of a sudden you come up to a big old clump of bushes that you want to flip. You ain't gonna sit there and untie the crankbait on the cranking rod to flip in that bush. You got to grab the telephone and pull a flipping stick.
Okay.
Right? And then the topwater rods, they have a fast tip, right? So they have a nice fast tip, little whippy rods and stuff. And then there's spinning rods come into play too, with different spinning rod baits, light little baits and stuff like that.
And that's more finesse, getting that spinning
Yeah,
rod.
like in the fall, I'll have to take you out there in the fall.
Yeah.
In the fall, the fish get on bait, and they get on bait really hard. And out in the middle of the lake, you're in 100 foot of water, and they're splashing around out there. So the little baby Cincos, little 3-inch Cincos, or these little Kitech swim baits and stuff, you throw on 5-pound braid, straight braid, because you got to be able to cast real far, So it all matters,
Everything matters.
Everything's matter. If you're fishing bait all the time out there, it's no big deal. But yeah.
So those fish would be like foaming in the middle of the lake?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so like a school of bluefin.
Yeah.
Out there foaming, huh?
Yeah. And out here, I was with a few guys one time, and they go, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm just gonna sit right here and wait for them to come up." And that's what you do at the lake,
Once
just
you
hang
find
out.
the bait.
What are you gonna do? Go trolling while you're waiting for them to come up? You just kind of use your instinct and kind of putt around, and
you can
try
feel
to
it.
figure out where they're gonna come up at. And sometimes they come up in reach, and sometimes they don't.
Now in the lake, is there birds involved in
Oh,
this?
yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a lake fisher.
Yeah, there's terns and seagulls.
Okay, that are telling the same
and the big
story.
storks and stuff, but they're not flying over the bait balls.
But the terns are out there.
The terns are out there.
They're telling the whole story, huh?
Yeah. And there's a bunch of different ways to catch them. Alabama rig. I'm not a big Alabama rig guy. I don't like throwing it, but a bunch of different ways, and it's fun, man.
Well, I got
Big
to
old
see
7-pounder come up and eat that little cinco on that 5-pound. Guess what? That's a lot of
a
fun.
lot of fun. It's kind of scary though when there's money on the line, huh? And that big old fish is pulling your 5-pound.
Yeah. And now, man, the guys that are winning are using that live scope and stuff, you know.
Oh yeah, but it's.
I have it on my boat, but I don't use it. It's just like anything. If you use it a lot, you get good. If you don't use it, you're not going to get good.
But you still got to get the bite. I watch and I'm reading and I'm watching YouTube videos of how their tournament guys are complaining about the live scope guys, and I'm like, we've had sonar. I mean, it's just another type of.
I'm not against that whatsoever. It's a tool. Hey, man, if you're in that arena, guess what? You better get in that toolbox and figure it out.
Yeah, could you imagine running sport boats or running your boat without a sonar? Right. You can't even compete.
Right.
So these guys that are crying about it, these live scope crybabies, the only reason they're crying about it is because they can't afford one.
Right.
So that doesn't mean
or they just don't want to use it because they just want to go up.
Well, they don't know how.
Which I get it. 80% of the time, I'm just fishing off my instincts. That's what I like to do. But I'll look at that thing every now and then, certain times a year, like in the fall when they're all bunched up, schooling out there. There'll be other bunches once it gets a little colder, down in the mud, just sitting down there, right? And you get them on the ice jig, right off the meter. Find them on the meter and drop an ice jig right down there. And just you can catch 50 of them.
Because you're putting it on the nest and they're trying to chase it off. They're just in the mud.
No, they're in the mud, just hanging out. Once the water gets cold.
So we're at one of the lakes and we're fishing. We have our live scan on, and you can see the little grass growing, and you can see the fish in the grass.
You can totally see their.
What I'm seeing on
there. You can
there.
see them so good that you can figure out their behavior. You can watch their behavior.
Watch how they react to your bait when it goes by.
Watch that, and watch how if you're not casting, just watch what they're doing. It's crazy. You can see them, or throw a jerkbait out there and they're following it.
So it has to go along the lines, and there's going to be better technology one day, and things are always going to get better. But I remember back when we got our first Lowrance. I mean, this plays into the same thing they're talking about, the live scope. When we got the first Lowrance C's on the boat,
right,
we thought there was going to be no fish left in the ocean because, my God, you could punch in the numbers on the machine, and it would tell you exactly how to drive the boat, and you would get within 200 feet of the spot or 300 feet of the spot. And we thought that was like cutting edge technology, and we still had paper graphs back then.
Right.
The photometer was paper.
I have a paper graph at my house.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
That thing's vintage. Kids wouldn't even know what it is. Remember the smell of the
what
paper?
What am I going to do with this thing? Oh, let me put it up there. It's cool.
Remember the smell of the paper?
Right. Don't run out of paper.
That used to be because we all slept in the bridge on the boat I worked on, and so when you could start to smell the photometer paper burn, you knew it was time to wake up. You could hear it go.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, oh gosh, we're here. Got to get up and start working.
Hey, those things worked good too if you had them dialed in right.
Oh, it was a lot of us. This is how weird it is.
You can open up the roll later in the day and look what you went over instead of scrolling through an electronic meter.
You guys fishing the largemouth bass stuff. You guys were using braid way before the sport boat started using. Way before we used it on the ocean.
Flipping in a frog, you better have braid.
I used to hear about this braid, and we used to laugh. We're not putting that shit on our reels. We're monofilament fishermen. And I had this one bass guy, Steve Benefield, fish with me one day, all day, and he goes, "You know what would make this better?" And I'm all, "What?" He goes, "Braid." I go, "No, it won't." Now I can't fish without it. I just can't.
All my rods will have braid on them.
Yeah, everything. I can't fish with mono now.
With a little 3-foot top shot. What's cool about it is you got 65-pound braid on like a medium universal bait stick out here. You can put 80 on there real quick. You can put 20 on there if you want to.
Just
depends on what's going on in the day. You don't have to go in there. Oh, let's go get my 20-pound rod. Then you need a whole nother outfit.
Right. But the whole thing with the Lowrance C, we thought it was going to be phenomenal. Then we all started getting GPSs, and I remember getting the first GPS in '91, and that was like, oh my gosh, this thing has a map on it that shows us where we are, and it shows us which way we drift. I was like, this can't be legal, you know? And they said, oh, you would get that from NASA. NASA's been using it since the Apollo, and we're like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. And then I remember when we got our first sonar, and it was just game changer. So the reason I'm talking about it is because when I see these guys crying on Facebook or YouTube about these live scope guys, dude, that's the deal. You got to get one.
Everything evolves.
Right. And you can't complain about. I hear these guys saying they want to outlaw them in tournaments. That ain't right. That you can't do that. That's ridiculous. And then how would you do that? Go from boat to boat to boat in the morning and make sure they don't have one?
Just put in the rules. Yeah. They'd have to do that.
What a mess.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
On the flip side of that, a lot of guys are complaining that it's all about money for the manufacturers and stuff. It's part of the fishing industry, man. The fishing industry needs volume. It needs money.
And
it's billions of dollars business.
They're making those because people are buying them. Right. If no one was buying them, they wouldn't be making them. But they're a bitching thing to have. They got to probably work in the back bay and stuff.
Yeah, I haven't taken the Ranger out there since they put all that stuff on the boat. I'm a little hesitant. I need to get into a little more use before I do that.
So talking about the back bay, because was magical for me. I've been able to fish my whole life in a bunch of bitchin' places, and I got to do a lot of cool stuff. But when you and I had that conversation a couple months ago, and you were telling me about the bonefish in the back bay and all this cool shit that you've been doing since you were a little kid, and I didn't know about it at all, and I grew up 60 miles north of here and had no idea.
Well, nobody in the South Bay wanted to give it up to anybody past La Jolla.
Because you didn't know. Nobody in our area knew anything about this, Al.
I don't want those guys from up north coming down here. Not even from Mission Bay.
And here's how magical it was for me. Al called me and said, we were just having a conversation. And he said, if there was ever a day, tomorrow would be the day. The tide is absolutely phenomenal. And we were on the phone talking, and Kelly was listening, and she booked the flight while we were talking, and we blew your mind.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, shoot.
You couldn't believe it.
Honey,
like, I got to go.
Right. Dave's coming over here.
I'm going fishing tomorrow. And, oh, my gosh, you guys, those of you that watch our podcast all the time, you got to see it. You got to see what Al and I did. You got to watch us come in and let the fish go at the dock, and we had a really fun day that day. I've never seen anything quite like it. I love to fish. I'm not I need a 200-pound fish to make me excited. I just want to fish. I just want to put my line in the water. Really? And that's what we did. And we did that as fast as we wanted to, as long as we wanted to. And then before that, I asked you, hey, could you show me how to catch ghost shrimp? Because I lived here my whole life, but I never fished ghost shrimp. That day was so magical, and I can't emphasize it enough to all of you out there. Al's a phenomenal bluefin fisherman. He knows the Coronados like the back of his hand. He has this Point Loma La Jolla thing all dialed in. But gang, you can do that anytime. But this back bay thing is just so magical because you could take your kids, you could take your spouse. There's no weather. It's just an epic fishery. And this fishery is so insane. I want you just to describe to people. Try to tell them. I don't even think we got enough time to tell them how many different fish you can catch in there.
All right, there's lots. There's lots.
It's incredible, gang. And Al has these spots where he can tell you we're going to be parked right there at 8:15 in the morning because that's when the tide's going to be moving the right way, and you're going to see this little pole sticking out of the water, and I'm like, okay. And
it's true.
It was 1,000% true. I was like,
the bummer part about that is being so dialed in is when I'm busy with doing a bunch of back-to-back AM, PM trips, you got to go and try to figure it out when you've been the times of the day, when you've been trying to figure out all your life and it still hasn't worked. I'm still trying to figure it out, But yeah, man, it's cool. I had a buddy of mine named Ron come down from Utah on Monday, right? And he calls me up. He goes, "Hey man, let's go fishing." I go, "I'm not fun fishing right now, dude. I'll pay you. Let's go do something." So I said, "I'll tell you what. I don't want to go offshore today and burn all that fuel." I said, I got a plan for you." I said, "What do you think about catching like 11 different species of fish on a spinning rod and maybe a couple on a big old bait caster?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm down." So I took him back there. I said, "We got to go pump ghost shrimp first, and we got to be there at a certain time." So I took him to pump ghost shrimp, and he was tripping. He couldn't believe it. And then we went back there and set the anchor. Got the chum buddy out, and we caught quite a few bonefish. We caught some 5-foot shovel nose, which was pretty cool. The big ground day ones.
Right.
We didn't catch any bat rays that day, but we caught some leopards and some yellowfin croaker and some that black Chinese perch or whatever it is.
China croakers.
China croakers.
Yeah, the little black ones with the silver white silver stripe on them. Yeah, I saw you guys pulling them out of the bait tank on the live show. It looked like they look like the trip we had.
Right.
It was pretty magical back there.
You know, the thing about me is when I'm going full tilt, I got my fingers on the pulse at the lake. I got my fingers on the pulse in the bay. I got my fingers on the pulse around the pulling on the kelp beds at La Jolla. I got my fingers around the pulse at Coronado Islands, and I got my fingers around the pulse offshore fishing.
Oh,
so
for
if
sure.
You look around. I count in my garage yesterday because I took spinning rods out of the boat here. I had 24 rods just tripped by my little chair, and I use them all. I mean, I grab handfuls of them to go on this trip or that trip. But you gotta have anything from 80 wide to a little trout rod hanging out with me.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's a lot. It's a lot, and it took a lot of years to figure it all out. And if I'm on the water, when I'm on the water a lot, I stay really in tune. But when you get pulled off the water, when it gets slow, then you got to get your momentum going again. You know what I mean? That's when you got to use your inner circle of information.
Yeah, that's kind of what the website's all about. And if you guys watch the game plans that Al puts out, he has these bitchin' calendars that he uses. I mean, not calendars, these bitchin' charts that he's acquired. And he has an opportunity to get these charts are incredible. If people watch the game plans, they all are commenting about these charts all the time. And I know we got a couple of them right here in front of us, gang. These charts are absolutely incredible. What's going on in these things?
Dave.
What's going on in these things?
That's the San Diego Boater's Guide right there. This is the San Clemente Islands Boater Guide. This right here, Catalina Boater Guide. So every area of the whole west coast, from the Channel Islands down to below the border, we have on maps with all the GPS coordinates for all the spots, all the closed areas, you name it. Like, look at this one; it's all ready out. So this map right here is SoCal Bright Offshore. It's got San Clemente, Catalina, and Nick on it, and the beach all the way through there, right? And they make this one in a full-size poster for the yachts that you can put on your boat. They make them all with a full-size poster, so you can put them on your table in your yacht and look around. You can put them in your office, when you're figuring out where you're going to go fishing, or you can just quick review it. We have everything, and then this is the newest, the latest and greatest fish ID card. See this guy right here? See how detailed it is?
Here, let me pull your QR code down for a minute. Slide that up towards there a little bit. See what's going on. It's got every kind of rockfish that you were going to catch.
Right, on the back too.
Kind of help you out, because it's super important right now to know the types of fish you're catching.
And this is the California groundfish, the California one. Not Alaska, not up north. So.
There's so many different redfish, sheep's head, and sculpin and stuff that if you haven't really spent a lot of time out here, you're not really going to know what we're talking about. So this is super important to have something like this on your boat. Plus, if you got a charter boat or you have your yacht, you should have some of these just laying around in the salon for people to look at when you're out cruising around, so they can go, yeah, I want to catch one of those, or I want one of these smallmouth speckled rockfish. How can I get one of those, Cap Mal? Then the really cool thing is these maps that Al has that shows the islands and it shows all the different spots. You can put that together with your Saltwater Guide, the website, and then you can start to look at different things. Those of you that are members, you already know this information. This is going to be more for the yacht guys with people on the boat that didn't watch all my videos. These are going to be perfect for those people to sit around down in the salon and you can go, yeah, we're right here at Santa Cruz Island, this Chinese harbor, and we're going to move up here and look around in the bay here all the way up to Prisoners. If we don't like that, we're going to spin around the corner and come back here to Yellowbanks. This is kind of cool stuff to be able to show because, Al, you know, people come up in the bridge all the time and they want you to move your cursor around, and we're working. We're got stuff going on.
Don't touch my meter.
But they want to see where they are. These are magic.
Right. I mean, I refer to it all the time offshore just because I know I'm in between the 302 and the 371, right? I can look at my numbers, but it's cool to look in here and say, okay, but shit, I just got a radio call from a really good buddy of mine at the 43. Let me see where I'm going.
And how far away is that, and all that
hey,
stuff.
Let's go here. Or if you're island hopping, it tells you, you know, everything. All the closures are on here and everything. You know?
And all that super pertinent information to have. There's a lot of really good information on these charts, and you got an opportunity. People can get these charts from you, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's looking like I'm going to be the sole West Coast rep. So, if you want to get any of these, you can give me a call on my direct line at 619-800-3474, or shoot me an email at captainclowers@gmail.com.
And then we put the QR code up there. You can go right to Al's website, see what he's got going on and the trips he has available and all that stuff. But something I really enjoy when you're doing the game plans, Al, is how you talk about the Coronado Islands and the things that you know about those islands. That's pretty cool. You got a lot of really good information about the Coronado Islands. I got some spots there, but I never really fished them. I don't know much about them. So bringing you in on this is really special. Having those reds you caught today, my goodness. Right where this is out by, we won't tell you where, but this was out at the Coronados this morning. Al's sending me these.
Yeah, we jacked them up really good today. They wanted taco meat, so the taco meat bit real well.
I'm going to show you.
I think the biggest red was 7 pounds.
It was a monster. It looked like a Cortez Bank or San Clemente Island red. Look at that thing. That's today on Al's trip, gang. Isn't that insane? It's absolutely insane. So what we were talking about is you got this phenomenal plethora of information. Largemouth, smallmouth, back bay. But now let's get offshore. Go to Coronados. Yeah. You got that place pretty figured out. And can we just show everybody the plethora of rods and reels?
Yeah, there's some outside right now.
Gang, you can't comprehend.
Yeah, go in there.
You're not going to miss nothing. Al, you go with me. We're going to walk around here and you can explain what's going on again, because we don't get to normally do this on the podcast where we get to show stuff. So this is Al's. This is Al's boat. This is the Riviera. You get to go fish with Al on.
This. It came out killer. So all those rods are outside, but
well, wait a minute. Right behind you, I see like 10.
Right. Yeah, these are a bunch of spinning rods. So these are popper rods.
There's a whole bunch of rods.
Fin. That's a 9,000 with 80-pound braid on it.
I see 9 rods there, Al. You're like, I don't have any rods up here. There's 9. Most of us don't even have 9.
These are all spinners because I was getting too congested down in the room.
So let's go in the room. We should be able to see.
You got more spinners.
Look at that in the corner. What you got pretty much ready for whatever.
That's all Okuma 50s, 30s, and 20s. So the Delta Flyer, the flying fish under the kite, the yo-yo jigs, the Mad Max, everything. There's the.
So right there, you got. I just counted them out.
10
Right in
so
this
there.
corner, there's 18 rods. You said 10. There's 18, buddy.
Okay.
There's 18 right there, gang.
Right.
That's just one. Oh, wait a minute. Here's a whole bunch more. Oh, you got the battery pack for the electric reel?
I took the kite rods off for the girls today and put the reels on a fishing pole so the girls could use the electric reels. They were stoked.
Oh, I bet.
And all the spreader bars up there, a bunch of spreader bars. Just,
Anything you can possibly think of. Here's some more heavy duty spinning
Helium.
reels. Big helium tank over in the corner.
Tank, and then there's 2 more in here. But
2 more helium
there's
tanks
2
in
more
the closet.
Kites and all that stuff in there. But yeah, man. There's no shortage of gear.
You're gonna find everything you need. And then what they were doing today, gang, was fishing at the Coronado. So look out here. I mean, most of you are be stoked with just a handful of that equipment. He's got Ryan's hosing the boat off, but out here, look at. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 rods out there. I'm not kidding. There's 18 rigs out there. So what do we got? About 70. Oh, wait a minute. We got more up here.
Yeah, you got a couple.
Sheesh.
You got a Okuma 16, Tesoro 15, and this is 30 right here. 31.
A lot of Makairas.
Yeah.
Those are a work machine.
Yeah, when I outfitted the boat, it was all with Makaira.
How lucky are we, since we're totally sponsored by them, to have you using all their equipment?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I think the bill on that was 35 grand.
Gang, what we're trying to show you is we talked about largemouth bass for a while. We talked about the back bay. Gang, you're not gonna outsmart Al on, oh, can we go try this?
Hey,
yeah, I got 4 of those rods right here.
I try to, as a lot of people that know me and know of me know that I try to fly under the radar. I don't like to be out in the limelight like these youngsters,
Like Captain Dave.
And no, I'm not talking about that. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So I pride myself on that, and every day I'm learning. I don't know everything, but I know some, and every day is different, man. So you got to stay on top. You got to stay on top of it. And my dad taught me a long time ago, preparation is key when it comes to fishing. It comes to anything, but fishing, you got to prep yourself for the time that it happens,
Yeah, that's the whole key. That's what people used to say when I used to come on their boat guiding. They would go, Dave, when you show up, you bring so much stuff. And I'm like, yeah, because we don't know what's going to happen. No matter what we thought yesterday, tomorrow's going to be totally different. You could literally leave the harbor, and in a half an hour, you could be in a giant school of bluefin.
Right.
There's no,
and if they're big bluefin, you better have the weapons.
You better not get caught with your pants down.
You might as well go home.
But there's, like I say all the time, there's no fences out there. So those fish can go wherever they want. And we've seen them in crazy places. I'm sure you can go.
Oh, yeah. Fox 5 sent me an email 2 years ago. Hey, and they came to me, right? Hey, we want to go on your boat and do a segment for that. They have a like an outdoor show on there.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, okay, why me? Well, you're rated high. Okay, let's do this. So we finally put something together. I go, hey, the bluefin are like 60. I was willing to go 60 miles for the foamers. And the guy says, hey, we only have from 7 to 1. And I'm like, oh man,
gosh.
We might be able to catch some bay bass, but I don't want to do that on live TV. It's going to be broadcasted for months.
That's some pertinent information you should have.
So I said, okay, well, here's the deal, blah, 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 make a long story short. So we wrapped it up, and I got them on the boat, right? They get to the boat, they get all the camera stuff out. I got from 7 to 1, right? And we're going foamer fishing on the 9. That's what happened the night before. Wide open foamers. And I'm trying to hurry him up, right? Finally get them on the boat. I light this thing up like it's never been lit up before after I get bait and try to get out there. And we get out there and there's a bunch of bait and there's
No fish.
There's no fish. And I'm like, man. And I knew it could happen, but you just got to take a chance. So I told Jeremy, he was with me. I go, dude, we need to find a kelp because the drought were everywhere. And as I was telling him, dude, we got to find a kelp. I was looking, there's one right there. Dude was on there and he didn't have no bait. So I'm not the kind of guy that just rolls up on patties on people. So I held back. Jeremy goes, what are you doing? We got to hurry up. I go, dude, the guy's going to leave in a minute. We'll just roll up there and smash him. And the guy left. We rolled up there and we went wide open. We got Dorado footage, and it was cool. They put it on TV for a long time.
Nice. Yeah.
It was cool.
See, he's all planning on bluefin. The whole thing changes at any given second. That's why a lot of you are going, why do you have so many rods on your boat? Because you're ready. Al's
it's like
Al's a fisherman.
It's like a little situation you had the other day with people that are new to it, and obviously, Dave, you get a lot of people that are novices and intermediate fishermen, and they're looking for information, right? But the information circle is wide. It's hard just to tell a guy, okay, you got to have this, and this, and go here, right? If he doesn't know how to use the gear, right? So, like I said, I'll put together. I got enough gear. I can put together a video of what you need offshore, and it blow people's minds how much it costs.
And what Al's talking about is we have a website people pay money to be on to learn what we know. And we do guide trips where we'll go with you on your boat and teach you how to fish on your boat. And when we go to your boat, we kind of tell you before we get there, hey, this is happening, and this is happening. We give you 3 options. Unfortunately, we're just human beings, so we can't do all 3. We can do one.
Right.
And we're going to go out there and do it to the best of our ability.
And we try to have the tools, without taking a truckload to the boat,
But like I try to explain to all of our people, our deal is totally different than everybody else. Not Al's charter boat. Don't get me wrong. But our guide service thing, the last thing you want to do on a guide trip is catch fish.
Right.
Because then you don't learn anything.
Yeah, maybe half an hour worth of thing.
Yeah.
The rest of the time you got to teach them.
Yeah, you want to learn how to read the water. You want to learn how to fly the kite. You want to learn how to drop the lure. You want to learn how to troll. You want to learn how to do all the different things. And what happens is if we go out there, like Al said, and find that magic patty first thing, you catch 9 million Dorado, run out of bait, you're all tired, we're going home. What did you learn?
Nothing.
You didn't learn a thing. You learn that the next time you go out, you want to find a kelp patty, but it might be December. Right? So there's so much to the stuff that Al and I are talking about, just like the largemouth fishing in the lake. When you listen to Al's game plans, they're so broke down and precise about where you need to be, when you need to be there, and what you need to be looking for. That's why I love having you as part of the website.
Yeah, I feel they're not that precise, but apparently they are. But I mean, if I had more time, I could really get zoned in,
There's a lot of, look at Greg Curtis. Thanks for putting me and my grandkids on the fish in the back bay, Captain Al. Thank you very, very much. Hey, Cubby, how are you, buddy? And you go through the community, Al, and you see so many people thanking you, and they ask you questions, and we're old. There's no sense in hanging on to this stuff anymore. What are we going to do with it? We need to give it away so that we can keep it, because they're on a mission in the state of California to stop us from fishing. They don't want us to fish, Al. They don't want you to take your grandkids.
What's up with the sand bass?
They want those sand bass July 1st. They're having a big bunch of shit.
Those things migrate from Baja.
They don't even live here, and they want to close that down.
We smashed those things the other day.
Did you? Where at? On
right
the
here
flat?
In the bay.
In the bay.
Up to 5 pounds.
Sweet. Bay fish and sand bass. Big pus guts.
Yeah, we caught like 30 of them.
Yeah, we definitely need to close that. They're extinct. They're extinct.
They're extinct in February. I mean, not in February, but in November.
When the water's cold, they're a migratory fish. They migrate up here. But the reason I was telling you about the closures, ccacalifornia.org has a big event coming up on the 27th of this month at the Grand in Long Beach, California. We're going to be giving Mark Gresslick a Lifetime Conservation Award from Anthony Shea. Anthony will be at the dinner. CCACalifornia.org is giving away this unbelievable award, 5 years now. 2 year, second year, my father won it, so it means a lot to me. Mark's a phenomenal friend of the families. He's been behind the scenes forever and ever and ever without any accolades, doesn't look for accolades, doesn't want accolades. He's working back behind the scenes trying to keep fishing open. My dad was out in the front. Mark was back behind him, and they worked diligently for years to try to keep fishing open. So we're giving him the Lifetime Achievement Award on June 27th. We've been selling tickets to have dinner with Kelly Girl and I at our table. There's going to be, the industry's going to be there. Daiwa will be there. Okuma will be there. Shimano will be there. AFTCO will be there. All the big time companies, Promar, they'll all be at this dinner. Bill Shedd, big time, got the award last year. He's going to be there. AFTCO and Bill Shedd have a lot to do with keeping fishing open. Bill works very, very hard and very diligently. You'll be able to see all these different people. If you want to join us for that dinner, I would be stoked if you sat at our table. But if you don't want to sit at our table, sit at somebody's table. And Kelly Girl, my wife, will be there. That's how you can find out about how to get the tickets right there. The QR code's up on the screen. Those of you that are listening, driving around in your cars, go to CCACalifornia.org, and that's how you're going to get all the information you need to come to the dinner with us. Hold on one second, Al. I want to show you something else. You got a couple seconds?
Oh, yeah.
You got time? Look at this. Right here. Gang.
So Dave, hey Dave, so let me tell you how cool those kill bags are, man. Those things keep fish alive. I mean, nice and cold, and they're puncture proof and they don't leak. I've put fish in clients' rental cars and stuff, and they use my bag to take them to the processor and come back, and they're just jumping for joy, man.
I think you need a bigger one though now because things are getting bigger. I mean, you got that small one when we were doing the lobster stuff and everything, but the end of that video, gang, where you saw the ribs in there, when Alf saw that, him and I were sitting talking, and we were like, that is incredible. No one's ever done that before, where they put the ribs in there that keep the fish out of that slimy water. And then, like Al's saying, they're totally 100% leak proof, and there's no condensation. So, you know, the old bags, we won't say their name, but they were one ply. You put them in your car, the whole car's soaking wet, even when they weren't leaking. These bags don't leak. You've seen them on Pablo's boat. You've seen them on Al's boat. We need to try to get. I'll get Dave to give you a call. We'll try to get you some of the bigger ones so you can have them on the back deck. It would really help.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm all about it.
Plus, you need a place to hold all the ice you need. That's a great place to hold the ice and then pour it into your kill box on the deck. Put it on the swim step. You can fill those. The bigger ones are better because they hold more ice. Plus, if you catch one of those 200-pound bluefin, Dave's got videos of swordfish in his 90-something inch bags.
96 inches.
Yeah, it's incredible. Those bags are insane. If you haven't seen them, check them out. Go to the right there on the screen right now, gang, is the QR code. You can save 15% on your Deckhand Sports kill bag. But when you're in there looking around, he just got a new product out. He's got reel bags to put all your reels in. Really bitchin', really easy to use. He just came down to Cabo and fished with my guy Jose down there on my charters. Dave just left on Monday. He was down there the weekend fishing rooster fish
Nice.
and jacks. And he left one of those bags for Jose. Jose can't get over it. He's just totally stoked. Thank you again, Dave, for leaving that bag on there. But gang, when you're on the website going through the QR code, and those of you driving, it's deckhandsports.com, or check out the QR code right here on the screen. You go over there to their website, you can see all the phenomenal gear he has. Stuff you can't even believe. The backpack system that he made, leak-proof, watertight backpacks. You can carry your lobsters in it. You can put all your lunch and cameras and phones in it if you're going to go out to the beach all day. There's just so many different things that you use on a daily basis that you'll be blown away that Dave has thought outside the box and made it some of the most incredible product you've ever seen. So check out Deckhand Sports at deckhandsports.com. Check out all the cool kill bags they have over there. And now we got a few more things to talk about, Al. I know we're only almost on an hour here. It's hard to believe. But you have this charter boat. We haven't even talked about your charter boat yet. We just walked around it, showed you all the rods and reels. Gang, we can go up in the bridge right now. If any of you want to go up there with us, just let us know on the comments. He's got a CH500. Look that up. Type in CH500. Google that and see how much that cost. They're not free, gang. He's got the CH500 on here. He's got a massive bait tank. Looks like about 100, maybe 120 gallon bait tank.
Yeah.
That's you know me. If you guys know me, I'm all about bait.
We got one there. We got one for Max on the stern, and we got one in the bow.
So he carries.
And we got that big old aftermarket 3/4 inch stainless steel bow reel all around this bow where 5 guys can throw poppers on tuna if they're working together.
There's a big old bow up here, the big bow railing. And if you guys watch our reels, you saw me and Al up there winging the surface iron a couple weeks ago.
And you know what's cool about this boat too? I know other ones have the same configuration, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them have cabinets all the way down one side, so you can only sit on one side. That's what I like about this boat. It has a couch on each side. And then that back flips up for a bunk. And then this goes away, and I have an extension that goes on here for a double.
So you want to do multi-day trips?
Back when I was doing multi-day trips.
Yeah. Now, the boat's very comfortable. You had a good group today on there fishing the Coronado Islands.
Yeah,
they looked like they had a really good time.
A couple of dentists from Palm Springs with their daughters and their daughter's boyfriend. Yeah, and we smashed the reds and caught a bunch of Picacho and reds and a Mako, and wrapped up the day there. No yellowtail down there right now. The water's kind of cold and off color, and the yellowtail kind of went away down there. There might be a little tiny bit of volume, but hopefully everything stabilizes and they get back in there.
And you know what's really cool about Al, Justin, Pablo, any of the guys that work with me? Al could have easily, these people kind of somebody had told their sisters, brothers, aunts, cousin, they kind of mentioned the bluefin word and they were kind of thinking about it. But they get to talk to Al personally. He lets you know. Chances of catching a bluefin are about 1% right now. If you're not on a 90-foot sport fisher with 700 scoops of bait and a sonar and all the things that the long-range sport boats have and all the San Diego sport boats have. I mean, there's some killer captains with some killer operations with some really good fishermen. We can't. That's not our deal.
No.
That's not what we do. I mean, when the tuna are biting, boy, we can catch them as good as anybody.
Right. I mean, here, you have the whole circle of different personalities of fishermen, and I get calls from all of them, right? Some of them call me for their little kids in the bay. Some of them call me for a family to go do whatever I suggest, or some of them call me to go big bluefin fishing and play roulette. I mean, and I talk to them all about the situation and the conditions and lay it all on the table before we go. That way, they know what they're up against. If I talked to them, they maybe wanted to go catch a big one down at the pins. But I asked them how old the kids were and stuff, and I said, it's not real kid friendly, but if the husband really wants to go catch one, we can try. If you're willing to put $4,200 up on the roulette table, we can go there. And today I don't think it bit. either.
And that's the thing with bluefin. Bluefin or bluefin, you guys read about it all the time. So what I'm trying to explain to you guys is we're not going to let you just go and you're the driver of the boat. That doesn't really work in our situation. You're not going to get on a sport boat and tell the captain what you want to do. You're going to get on a sport boat and you're going to go fish for what's biting. Same thing's going on with us, gang. We can't take you down there and compete with what's going on down there. It's just not fair right now. When it's good, though, we'll be right there in the front of the pack, right?
That stuff at the tuna pens is competable right now because they're catching them on sinker rig sardine and sinker rig dead flyer, and doesn't take a bunch of bait because they're down 200 feet. But that other sonar fish stuff, I don't have enough bait, you know. And it takes a lot of bait to get them up, you know. But there's a big volume close. So yesterday there was a big volume of the smaller ones, 20 to 60 pounders, mainly 20 to 40 pounders, 4 or 5 clicks below the hidden bank. You could see them everywhere. And the boat that was down there by itself. Look at Ryan just caught a Corina.
Hey, bring it in here, Ryan. Show everybody on the show. Like, okay, don't bring it all the way in. Look, just caught it on the dock right now. Orange mouth Corvina. Look at them fangs. Woo! That's what's going on here, gang. We're live, baby. It's live right here in San Diego Bay.
Those are our pets.
That one's not anymore. That's dinner right there. But
yeah, so anyway, man,
what we're trying to tell you is when you give Al a call, he's going to tell you, yeah, exactly. When you call us, guess who picks up the phone?
Yeah, I do.
Al picks up the phone. Justin picks up the phone. Call me, I pick up the phone. Pablo, we talk to you. But we're not gonna rip you off. We're not gonna take you tuna fishing if they're not biting. We're gonna tell you, like today, Al was saying. He talked to his people. He told them there's a chance to go down there tuna fishing right now on a private boat and not even get to touch the fishing pole all day. Right. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry. When that yellowfin stuff shows up in the Dorado and the yellowtail, it's a whole different thing. Or when that bluefin's between here and Clemente and U.S. waters, and we don't have to go 60 miles one way, and we can go out there and they're kind of biting, and we can put 4 or 5 on the boat, we're going to tell you.
Right.
But it is fishing.
Right. Well, I mean, it goes both ways. If they didn't bite yesterday and you don't think they're going to bite, if you don't go, you're definitely going to catch them from the couch. And if they bit yesterday and you go the next day thinking you're going to catch them, they're bluefin. They might not be there. Right? So who knows when they're going to bite?
It's a big gamble.
Around the moon, you can kind of guess a little bit better. You know, 3 days before and after the moon, full moon.
So how many people do you take on this beautiful Riviera?
I take up to 6 passengers.
Okay. And why can't we take more? Why can't we have 10 or 12?
I'm an uninspected passenger vessel. Max is 6.
And it wouldn't be fun.
No, it'd be too congested. I get all the time people saying, hey, we got 7, one's not going to fish, but I can't do it. It's illegal.
It's against the law, first of all, but second of all, it's not comfortable. When you're on a yacht like this, I know you got the bow and you're like, cool, we go stop at the island or go stop in La Jolla or something. We don't want you up on the bow. You don't want to be up on the bow. The back of the boat's where all the action is. You put 6 people back here, you're pretty, and you and your deckhand, it's pretty crowded. Right. You don't want more people. I don't even know why you would want to charter a small boat like this and put a whole bunch of people on it.
Right. Well,
go on a sport boat.
A lot of people don't get it. You know?
But that's why we're trying to explain it to them, man. Trying to explain it to you. Right. The United States Coast Guard has a thing where there is an uninspected passenger for hire carrying vessel. That's what the 6-pack charter boat business is all about. They're uninspected by the Coast Guard, so therefore they can only carry up to 6 people.
And touching on that, every winter I do a voluntary or involuntary inspection where I call them and because I want that sticker right there. So when the clients get on the boat, that sticker, if you have that sticker, you're in compliance with everything.
That little sticker right there.
Outside.
We'll show it to you real quick, gang. Hang in there. We're in no hurry. Right there. that's kind of important to see on a boat when you go on there. When you're going to spend your money and put your family at risk, you better hope they're doing stuff like Al's doing, Justin's doing, Pablo's doing.
So that's not mandatory, but I make it mandatory because it gives me time after 12 months goes by. I get to go back in my paperwork and look at everything and all my safety gear and look at it all, make sure it's all current, no rips on the life jackets and all that stuff. And to get one of those stickers, you have to show them your drug authority. You have to show them a bunch of stuff, all the right insurance and everything else. So it gives me a peace of mind saying I do my due diligence prior to the season starting, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of important. You want to be in compliant. And so we want to go fishing with you on your boat. You got availability, right?
Yeah. I got this weekend available, a couple of days next week. I got plenty of availability. Whether you want to go on a little kiddie trip with 6 people on a 4-hour bay trip and catch all kinds of cool stuff, or you want to go on a 12-hour big bluefin trip, I got you covered. Islands, you know, the islands are biting good for the cod and stuff. Not much yellowtail right now. Point Loma kelp's a little stingy right now with that brown tide and everything too. So mainly it's the bay, the islands, or if you want to roll the dice and go bluefin fishing right now, that's what's going on.
And you guys can give Al a call. You can call him up. I'm going to throw his phone number back up there on the screen. And you can give Captain Al a call. You can also call him up, let him know if it's really worth signing up to your saltwater guide. You can call him up if you're a member of your saltwater guide. You can call Al. He'll help you on Thursdays. He puts out the game plan with us. It's pretty cool. And give everybody your phone number because there's a lot of people listening.
Yeah, my direct phone number is 619-800-3474. 619-800-FISH is the same. That's 3474. So you can't forget it.
There you go.
619-800-FISH. And, you know, for all the whole charter industry right now, it's been tough with bookings. You know, all the bookings are down. The fishing's always good if you're not fish specific, you know. And, you know, buy San Diego charter companies, you know, just help us out. And the guys like me won't let you down, you know. We need work, we need to stay alive, and we need to go fishing, basically.
And that's a good thing, what you said, if you're not fish specific.
Right.
If you're not locked in on, I only want to catch giant bluefin. There's probably a pretty good chance you'll get one, but it won't. You won't get one.
It might not be the first day. It could be. It might not be the second day. It could be. You know.
But if you go and do stuff with Al, you want to go see what the Coronados are all about. You want to definitely do one of these back bay trips, gang. It's magical. Catch bonefish in San Diego. Gang, you go on YouTube and look at bonefish fishing. People are going to exotic places, spending tens of thousands of dollars to catch a bonefish. We literally caught 20 bonefish in an hour down here. It's the most incredible thing. And Al has these bitchin' little spinning rods he custom made. So these bonefish you're catching, first of all, gang, when they hit your line, it's like a race car going by. They take off like you can't even believe. They just inhale those ghost shrimp.
Especially those bigger ones. Ron hooked about an 17.5 incher the other day, and it was zipping all around the boat. Where are you going? You better hurry up, get around that motor.
It's just a fun fishery. And then the sharks, so many different sharks and stuff we were catching. There's just so much fun stuff to do down here in San Diego. And Mr. Clowers has been a part of San Diego for 63 years. Yeah. You're not going to find anybody else.
And you know, the cool thing about the bay fishing is I had hundreds of clients with young kids, like 8, 9, 5, 6-year-olds, catch 40, 50 bay bass in an hour or so. And then I'll go down there and go, hey, man, if the conditions are right, I'll go, hey, you guys want to go catch a bay shark? And they're like, yeah. And I take them back there, and you get one of those big old sharks, and it just blows their parents' mind and their mind, you know. But, you know, from the back, like I said, from the back bay of 12-hour offshore, I am dialed in. We got a beautiful platform here. We got beautiful killer deckhand, Ryan. and we're ready to go. The weather's been pretty epic, you know. Today it was blowing about 17 knots in the afternoon, but that's the first day it's blew like that in 2 weeks, you know. So there's lots of bluefin out there, and they're, you know, the leading edge is 30 miles right now, and that stuff's going to get up here close. So the guys that want to play roulette, bring it, you know.
Calico Chris wants to know, are the bonefish in the back bay all year long? Go ahead. I know the answer. You told me.
Well, I believe those bonefish live here. I haven't fished them in January or in the cold months, so I know that they don't bite as much. I know when the water gets hot, they kind of skedaddle out of the back bay and get in the bigger part of the bay, and they're harder to catch. I know that when the water gets up to 80 degrees. When it gets to 80 degrees, I start focusing on them corvina.
And there is a massive school of orange-mouthed corvina in here. Just like right here at the dock. Al came in with a little bit of leftover sardine.
Ryan flipped one out of the slip.
Ryan caught one right away while we're doing the podcast. So there's a lot of stuff to do down here, gang, in San Diego. And just having Al as a part of our website is such a blessing, I'm telling you. To get people, Justin, Al, and Pablo and I talk about it on Mondays, but to get anybody in the industry to share any of their secrets is really, really tough. I got 3 guys that are willing to help you as much as they possibly can because they know how important it is that you all catch fish when you go fishing so you can help us keep fishing open.
Right. And, you know, another thing is you got a lot of options. You know, if you really want to learn and see all the equipment, you come on my boat. You know what I mean? You can see all the equipment, how we use it, what you need. Or I can go on your boat and use your equipment or bring a little bit of my equipment, but I can't bring it all. There's too much. And then, you know, so, or you can call me and ask questions. But if you're new to like bluefin fishing, or if you're new to any type of the fishing, the best thing to do is come aboard, check out our operation. The bait trips are kind of short, but I also do little tutorials afterwards if they want to go through the gear and all that stuff. So, you know, I this is my whole life, and I try to show it on a daily basis to the people that get in front of me. You know, there's a lot of guys out here that are really good. I'm just a humble old dude that is pretty fishy, and I like taking people fishing. If you want to be a part of that, give me a call.
And we'll post a video up on our website with the maps and all the way you can get to them. But there's people out here, I'm sure, that would love to have some of those maps on their boat. One more time, you're going to be selling these maps here, right?
Correct. I'm going to be selling them direct, and I'm also going to be the West rep, so you're going to be able to get them out of all the tackle shops too. They're already in there. But so, yeah, you can give me a call at 619-800-3474.
And thank you, Dan and Kim. It is cool to be hanging out with Al. It's very cool. And gang, tomorrow morning I'll be on Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California's #1 fishing radio show, 1090 Sports Talk Radio, San Diego. And if you don't have the app, load the app up. Your Let's Talk Hookup is an app. You can get it on Google Play or you can get it on the App Store. You guys want to listen tomorrow morning? Those of you that are watching the show, members, whatever, call in tomorrow to the show. It'd be kind of cool to see you guys on the call-in list. And we're going to be giving away a couple of great prizes tomorrow on the show. First, to one caller or one texter, we're going to give away the 4-pack of GT4, the floral carving from Promar Ahi that we've been talking about. We're going to give away a 4-pack of the inshore or offshore, whatever you guys decide, whoever wins tomorrow, and that's going to be either a caller or a texter on the show tomorrow. And then Donna Kalis, my sister, owner of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing in Dana Point Harbor, is also giving away trip for 2, 3/4 day on one of the boats out of Dana Wharf, 3/4 day, whichever boat's running the day you decide to go. You're going to win a trip for 2, and it's going to be a caller and a texter for the show tomorrow. So get up in the morning, grab your coffee from 7 to 9. I'll be on that show. We'll be taking your phone calls. We'll be having fun, kicking back. And that's where I found out about this guy, was from that show.
Yeah, I'm gonna join you tomorrow, huh?
Al's going to be hanging out in studio. We haven't asked Pete's permission yet. We're just going to bring Al in there. And if
There's 2 chairs over there.
If
I know
it's
that.
cool,
I
it's
took
cool.
my grandson last time I was in
yeah.
there.
So we'll see. We'll see y'all tomorrow listen to us tomorrow morning. And thank you for watching our show tonight. I know it's a weird time, but you can all watch this later, reruns, whatever. Thank you all very, very much, everybody, for watching. Al, thanks for being a part of your
Thank you,
Saltwater
Dave.
Guide.
Thanks,
Woo!
everybody.